The Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. So much scoring in this game. 42-36. Titans came back to win after the Texans came back. It really was a good offensive game. I don't know if you're a defensive player or coach, you want to look at the film too much.
Right.
But let's start, because this is all on what the F happened on specific plays. Let's start with the 94-yard touchdown from Derrick Henry, where he just proved once again that he is such a unique talent and can do things that no one else can do power-wise and speed-wise.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a unique talent. He really is. I mean, there's nobody that big, that fast that we've ever seen in football. That play specifically, okay, it's a simple, straightforward play. A play that they really didn't run in the run game all game long. And then decided to go to it, I think, in this area just because, hey, they were backed up. They just wanted to get a push. Let's get out of the back, the end zone. Let's not have any pulling guards or moving parts so somebody shoots a gap and then all of a sudden we lose 5 yards and we're at the 1 yard line, right? So it's a safe play. Just everybody fire off and go up the field. And slow down that animation just for 1 second if we can. Go back to the start, because this is perfect if we could show this, because one of the cool things about it, have you see there, Ahmed, this is 13 personnel, I believe. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was 12 personnel. But I thought there was 3 tight ends in the game. That's where I'm wrong. But either way, 3 tight ends, I thought, to the left. I got to check this now that I'm sitting here. I'm going, wait, did I mess this up? Maybe it was only 12 personnel. I have to look. I'm sorry, everybody. We're going back.
Okay, you're doubting the next gen.
Well, I gotta see that. Okay. Yes, I'm not sure if
Our first controversy of the podcast.
Yeah,
right
sorry.
there.
I'm sorry. Here we go. I got to go back and look at the number now. It's going to drive me crazy.
Well, let me tell you what I saw here too with this play, which I thought was interesting, is that you got the right guard, Ben Jones. A good job of pushing the defensive
They were right.
tackle.
It was 15. I was wrong. So it's 12 personnel.
Okay, 12. Okay. So the next gen was right.
Next gen was right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And what happens a lot of times on these, Chris, is this is what I thought that you see Derrick Henry running. Even in next gen dots, he's super fast. The linebacker's always getting caught up in the mess, it seems like. And then it's all over when you got a safety trying to.
Well, yeah, that's definitely it. Like, go back to the start one more time, Kristen, and just pause it and leave it there, because you got the bunch left, 2 tight ends to the left. What they're trying to do is a play that, like in New England, they'd call it 35 gap. They basically want 3 double teams. They're hoping to double team 91, 96, and 92. 57, the linebacker lines up in the weak side gap, so therefore they can't get that 3rd double team. But like I told you already, it's fire off the ball. The Titans are thinking a run is going to come off that 2 tight end side, so the Texans have people overloaded to that bunch set. And within that, the Titans just got bodies on bodies. That's what you could see here if you're watching this on YouTube. But they got 2 double teams on the front side, and then they got the center on 92, and then the right guard, 64, Nate Davis, on 57, Scarlett, the linebacker, to where at least it gave Derrick Henry the opportunity to go, wait, we got some push off the line of scrimmage, let me get a little steam going, and then let me just kind of read. This play is on the running back. Let me just read the blocking, and wherever a hole presents itself, I'll run to that. There's no, specific hole that's designed for this, but he sees that. He's got unreal vision. And, yeah, he wants to run left, but he realizes there's a little more push to the right. He makes the cutback there because his right guard is, overpowering a smaller linebacker who's in that gap. And then, again, the rest, like you already said, is magic. It's unbelievable that he can kind of stop, turn left, and then reaccelerate and run by everybody else on the football team.
So you're looking at this Titans scheme as a whole, and early on you noted that they were doing zone cutbacks early on.
All it was.
That's basically what they were doing.
Other than that run right there, so there was 94 on that. I mean, the other, what would that be, 118 yards are all off basically the same run play. And it's a play we're going to talk about with another team here later on. But the zone cutback, you've seen the play a million times, right? It's line up, all right? It's the 5-0 lineman across the board. It's a tight end on each side off the ball, okay? So the tight ends are right on the edge of the tackles. And, okay, so now what they'll do is, let's act like we're going to run to the right? That left tight end runs to the flat like he's going to run a pass route to either get somebody in zone to go out there to widen the hole, or if it's man, it takes a guy out on the weak side. So they run him out of the way. And now as they're running to the right, that tight end on the right who's off the ball, he comes behind the line of scrimmage, right? And kicks out that weak side defensive end or whoever is there. So what really is, the Titans are trying to sell like, hey, we're running outside zone to the right because you have to worry about that because they'll cut you off and then he'll run on the outside and just they'll get 15, 20 yards. So teams overplay that because they go, man, we can't let them do that to us. And their curveball off of that is this. Oh, you want to overplay our strong side runs? Go ahead, go overplay them. And then that's when they hit you with, bam, the cutback run right there. And that was what they just fed off of all day long. I mean, anybody, go back and watch. You'll see every big run he has, anytime he rips off a run, it is the zone cutback type run that I just explained there.
So this is what I'm starting to think with the Tennessee Titans. Because I think a lot of people have evaluated this offense as Ryan Tannehill, game manager, ground and pound, kind of a boring offense. Skilled players don't necessarily stand out, but they do just enough to win ball games.
Yeah.
From seeing them against a team like the Texans here and throughout this year, I mean, they haven't lost a game. Is there a chance that we are underselling the amount of talent and what they're doing schematically with this Titans?
100%. It's one of the things I wrote in the notes where I just go, you know, one, we're underselling Tannehill. He's not a game manager. He's a game winner. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, he's a difference maker. And the talent thing, I think, is real. Now, it stinks they lost Taylor Lewan for the year. I mean, because their O-line is talented across the board. But then you talk about the running back, best running back in football. And then you talk about the tight end and Jonnu Smith. And you go, he's in the conversation for one of the 5 best tight ends in football. He's definitely one of the 3 or 4 best pass-catching tight ends in football. He's right there with Kittle, Kelsey, Waller. He is that special of a player. Then we get into A.J. Brown and Adam Humphries and Khalif Raymond and Corey Davis, who wasn't even out there. They can do whatever they want on the offensive side of the ball, Ahmed. So they have this great, you know, this great elite thing they do with Henry, and we're going to smash mouth, right? And then they get all the things off of it to, you know, protect it, or if you overplay it, the play action pass, the zone cutback runs you got. But then the other thing is, I mean, the drop back pass offense also has everything. It is one of the more impressive offenses in all of football. I mean, I really mean that. Arthur Smith down there.
Arthur Smith.
Yeah. He is kicking ass. You know, last year it was good. It was basic good. It's where I went, okay, it's good. They got all the basic principles you need to be successful. This year he's got all those, and he's added some, you know, some cream and, you know, some sprinkles and everything to make it a little bit better and a few wrinkles off of it here and there.
Ryan Tannehill, second year in the offense, full year of
Exactly,
Ryan Tannehill.
right. And I look at their offense and basically go, it's unstoppable. They can match up with any defense in football. They can beat you any way they want. And they were never stopped in this game. Not at really any point, other than when he threw the interception and then when he got strip sack fumbled 2 plays after Taylor Lewan got hurt. Other than that, they moved the ball up and down the field. The game turned, of course, when they got the field goal blocked and then the strip sack fumble, you know, really got Houston back in the football game. But 601 yards of offense, I mean, come on, that's insane. 338 passing, 263 running. You know, this is one of the best teams in football. And we have to start talking about it like that, maybe if not the best team in football.
So Sloppy JoJo Cards wants to put you to the task here.
Yeah.
Chris, if you were to create a defensive game plan to stop the Titans offense, what would you do? I think they're very underrated, such a complete attack, which you just said here.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Like if you're a defensive coordinator, you're seeing Derrick Henry, you feel like number one, you got to stop him, right?
You do. And then it's going to take only special defenses that can stop them. I mean, the Texans defenses of the world and those, they're never going to stop them. It's going to take a unit that has some other special pieces to match it. That's where I go back to like, hey, just off the top of my head, Kansas City last year in the AFC Championship game. What do they have? They got a lot of big mofos on their defensive line, so they can go, okay, you're not going to push us around. We're physical as crap too. And then they got a creative coach who can, you just don't know what to expect in certain situations, and you're going to have to be able to play a little man-to-man on them every now and then to call the bluff on that run game or whatever else to just blow up a play. But it's going to be a special type of defense that takes advantage of them, and we'll see. I mean, the Steelers have that special type of defense. They got to play them this week, but I don't know if the Steelers can play them in man-to-man coverage either. So that's going to be the other interesting thing off of that, too. This is one of the most well-rounded, well-taught, creative offensive schemes in all of football. And, I mean, come on. Guys like Ferkser is their second tight end. He's getting 100 yards receiving. They can really versatility and scheme and players and everything is off the charts in Tennessee.
Got a pop quiz for you.
Yeah.
Henry's 94-yard touchdown was the longest go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter or overtime since 1996. When the 49ers had a 96-yarder to beat
Garrison
the Jets
Hurst.
in over. How'd you get that so fast?
Because I'm the man. That's why. I'm got incredible recall.
Do you remember things in your life as well as you remember things in football?
Usually not. No.
Yeah.
I don't. No, my wife could tell me something 2 nights ago, and I go, wait, what? Who did you say that woman's name was?
Because you only have so much space.
There's
right,
only
in
so
your
much
head.
space. I got to cancel out the stuff that's not important.
You've chosen to keep all the football information.
It's
and all
bringing home the paychecks.
All the family information goes to the wayside.
Yeah, some of the family information.
Your wife will remember it.
My wife's like, what is on her wish list as far as $1,000 gifts goes right in one ear and out the other. You know, when my kids tell me things, and my wife has something a little more meaningful in life, I'll remember it.
Yeah,
but those stuff I can't do.
You can't have it all in your head there. End of the game. Did you see anything special? End of the game with Tannehill, the last drive to tie it in overtime. They had that big play action pass in overtime.
They
too.
did. Well, yeah. I mean, the big thing is the end of the game to tie it is just a perfect example of, again, like the drop back pass offense. They can do whatever they want. Texans were being really soft zones. And he was just surgical. Oh, 5 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards. And he's such a pinpoint thrower. And then they have that aspect of the offense where you can go, oh, they can get in the shotgun and throw it short and pick you apart that way. There's really no element of the offense they don't have. Now, the play action pass to Derrick Henry on the big play in overtime, they had run that play probably 3 or 4 times already during the game. And, you know, maybe 1 or 2 was a slight difference to the play, but similar in theory. And the Texans were all over Derrick Henry every time. They covered him every time. Here they get into this situation. They're playing man-to-man coverage. They fake the run that I've told you about that's killing them. It's fake to Derrick Henry to the right. The tight end on the right side went behind the line of scrimmage. So that guy playing him man-to-man went away. Now the other middle linebacker who was responsible for Derrick Henry, he sees Derrick. He kind of goes with Derrick Henry to the flat, but then I think he goes, oh, it's play action pass. I'm going to try to go get Ryan Tannehill. And he decides, Zach Cunningham decides to blitz, and he left Derrick Henry by himself. So he's really the guy to blame there in that play, and that was the backbreaker because that was a huge play. And then a few plays later, great touchdown play and an unbelievable game-winning touchdown play with the Derrick Henry 5-yard run. The same run we've talked about 7 times now with a tight end behind there. They did the same thing, except this time the Tannehill was out split wide, and he was the Wildcat quarterback. And now you're thinking, whoa, they're just going to smash it up in there. Or maybe the zone cutback's going to come, right? And they're very aware of it. So they have a bunch of people in the middle, and they actually have a guy for the inside zone cutback. But they taught their guy who comes behind the line of scrimmage, if he's inside, just pin him in there with the rest of them. And Henry will push up to the line of scrimmage and bounce it out, and he does that, and it's touchdown, and you can't stop him once he gets that steam ahead of him.
Offense looks so good when Derrick Henry is running wild like that. Can we pour one out for Deshaun Watson?
Oh, well, I mean, yes. I mean, he's the only reason they were in the game.
138.9 passer rating, the highest in a loss in NFL history. Minimum.
Is that right?
37 pass attempts.
Holy shit.
Minimum 37 pass attempts. So I want to throw that in there.
Whoa.
But he was, you said without him, they lose by 20.
No doubt about it. There's no doubt. I mean, every drive is Deshaun Watson, making magic or just making something happen on third down or, buying time and extending play when nobody's there and he scrambles for 7. Oh, buying time and nobody's there and he throws a completion for 20 yards. Or even the completions he threw in rhythm where you just go, whoa, the pocket was good. He made so many unbelievable throws into tight windows and things like that. I mean, he was on his game. It's the best he's looked all year. He really did. And of course, the Titans had them on the ropes, as we talked about. Again, I really like what I see from this Titans team. Their defense is very close. Again, I know people are going to look at it and go, well, they let up all those points and 412 yards. Listen, there's only a handful of quarterbacks that could have pulled off what happened there the other day.
Okay.
There really is. It's Deshaun Watson and, Rodgers and Mahomes and Josh Allen that can maybe, it's those type of guys. And he did. He played phenomenal that way. And the Titans defense, I'll just say this. If they were just a little bit better at rushing the passer, which they're getting better at, it's another thing I'll just say. There's really no weakness on the defensive side of the ball either. And they're being a lot smarter than they were earlier in the year. They're not playing as much man-to-man. They're not being overly aggressive. There's really a lot of cool zone coverages and different looks that way. And I just think they're getting close up front. Clowney's gotten better every week. He wasn't as great last week, so I shouldn't say every week. I thought last week was actually the worst he has looked so far. But Jeffery Simmons was back. He's a force in there. Harold Landry pops every game, rushing around the edge. So they'll find the right formula of when to be aggressive, when not to be. But, again, I think like their offense, they're very talented that way.
You liked Jeffery Simmons in this game early on. Defensive lineman for Tennessee.
Yes.
Second year out of Mississippi State.
Right.
He was the 19th overall pick in the first round in last year's draft. He's really not coming off the field this year. He's played 60 or more snaps the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And so he's playing more now than he did in his rookie year.
He's, I want to make sure I say this carefully, but I'm just, as I think about it, he's the best player in their defense. There's no doubt about it. He's better than Jadeveon Clowney. Every game he pops, and you don't ever take him off the field. So he can be a run stopper, but he's so athletic, too, that when it's third down, they put him, Clowney, Vic Beasley, and Harold Landry in, and you go, whoa, that's a pretty good front four right there. He is the force right now, and he makes a lot of plays on the inside. He pops more than anybody in their front seven. It's not even close, really.
So you mentioned Jadeveon Clowney a couple of times here. Yvonne Milan wanted to know a little bit more. Is he making an impact on this Titans defense? And so what about the future of Jadeveon Clowney?
Yeah.
Because is there a concern that we will not see the Jadeveon Clowney that we are expecting at this point?
I think, I don't know. I mean, I still think he's a very high-level football player. Are we going to see, ever the sacks and stats that are going to blow us all away? No. It's the versatility and the physicality of Clowney that's really special. He can drop into coverage. He can play defensive tackle. He can play defensive end. He can play outside linebacker. He's got unbelievable play strength. I mean, he can push around people that are 40 and 50 pounds bigger than him, and he pushes them around. You're like, how is that possible that he's doing that? So, there's always going to be the health issue with Jadeveon Clowney. He's got some issues, so he's always managing that, and I think he went into this game kind of banged up as well, if I remember correctly. But he is certainly a good piece to their football team and makes them a lot better up front. And I just think when he does get healthy and totally in football shape, which I think he'd probably getting really close to here, and maybe the nuances of this defensive system and all of that, I would just say watch out because he's gonna have his say before this year's over.
Titans improved to 5-0.
Yeah.
Texans are what, 1-5 now?
1-5.
Not great.
It's trouble. Yep.
Trouble for them.
Trouble.
They might lose their head coach.
They got to ride number 4 all day long. Their defense ain't going to stop many people, and it's going to be about 4 making plays.
Which is good news if you're a Deshaun Watson fantasy owner.
Oh, there's going to be lots of numbers. You're right. You're right.
I'll come from behind.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.